Salvete omnes, this is I'm Emilia, also known as the Martian Geek. And first of all, I am truly sorry that I haven't uploaded anything in so long. I know some LPers go on longer breaks, but still, it's been over 3 months now. It's 2014 now, and it's been a rather interesting year so far. I figured it would be. So now we come to the reason why I made this announcement. So, why have I not uploaded anything in nearly 3 months? Well, the first month of that was probably justified, as I'll explain later. But beyond that, I've had very few opportunities to actually record anything. It's not lack of time that's the problem. I do not yet have a job, and I'm not currently in school, so I have plenty of that. The problem really is lack of privacy. Quite simply, my house is not quiet enough, and it doesn't help that my room doesn't have a door. Now, I did come up with one possible solution for that, which is, instead of doing my commentary live, I could potentially do it with text boxes instead, or as I like to think of it, Pink Kitty Rose style commentary. I even have a real-life friend who could actually do the avatars for that. And in fact, she's taking art commissions right now, so if I could scrape together a couple dollars a month to pay for them, it would benefit both of us. I tend to be more eloquent when writing than when speaking, and actually, if I did it that way, I might even be able to do a lot more videos because I wouldn't have to be nearly as picky about the recording times. Though there is at least one potential problem with doing it that way, which is that video editors apparently suck at text boxes. I'm not really sure why. Camtasia Studio did them reasonably well, but I'm not using that anymore. I'm kind of trying to avoid software piracy unless I'm absolutely desperate, and I don't have $300 to blow on something like that, so no Camtasia for me. I have to find something that's actually within my budget. Pink Kitty Rose herself uses Pinnacle Studio, apparently. I actually did look into that, and it seems to be priced pretty reasonably, actually. Like, the most basic version is $60, which really isn't bad, but still more money than I currently have. I mean, when you're pretty much flat broke, it doesn't matter if it's $60, $600, $6,000, or $6,000,000, I still can't afford it. I suppose I could use the demo in the meantime and hope I get a job before it expires, but I don't really want to depend on that. So I might just have to wait on that one for a bit. What do you think, audience? Should I do text commentary, live, or maybe a bit of both? I already had planned to do text commentary for games that I already have done LPs of that I might choose to go back to in the future and play through on a different game mode of some sorts, different difficulty setting or different character or whatever. And even if I went full text, I would still use live commentary for blind runs as well as projects that are still in progress that are already being done with live commentary. Yes, I do still plan to finish the Zelda Minish Cap blind run, and I actually did record a couple episodes of another LP, live of course. I just haven't uploaded them yet because I wanted to do them after this announcement video. So, on the subject of my plans for this year, well, this year I hope to do a bit more than just LPs and maybe the odd Super Mario World hacking project show-off video. I had the idea a while back to do some lists of video game related stuff. Things like my favorite and least favorite levels, the best weapons in Mega Man games, favorite music, things like that. Also, there might be some other projects I could potentially show off, maybe some other ROM hacking, who knows. Heck, at some point maybe I could even do some game reviews. I also want to do some co-op LPs. I've never done one of those. And one idea I had that might not work is to do some sort of like celebrity guest week or something. I'm not quite sure how that would work, but it could be interesting. Maybe I could interview a more well-known LPer, or maybe even do a single episode co-op with them. I don't know. Of course, some of this stuff actually could also go into a blog rather than a video, something that I hadn't really considered until recently. It could be interesting, I suppose. I do still have plenty of regular LPs in mind for this year, though, so you need not worry on that front. Now, I've pretty much covered all the important stuff I wanted to talk about, so if you're not interested in the rest, feel free to skip to the end of the video. But you might be wondering, why couldn't I have recorded anything in January? The short answer is computer problems. The long answer is, around the turn of the year, my hard drive started failing. So naturally, I had to replace it. And I got that about halfway through the month, but unfortunately it didn't come with an OS. And since I didn't exactly have a lot of money at the time, especially after buying the replacement hard drive, I decided to try Linux. It's free, right? And well, have you ever had an occasion where you're about to try something new and you've heard a lot about it that suggests you might not like it, and you're maybe thinking the same thing, but you decide to put aside your prejudice and try to keep an open mind about it and try it. And once you finally do, you come off with an even worse opinion of it than you did before. That happened to my brother when he went to college on the other side of the state. And that pretty much is what happened to me when I tried to use Linux. To put it simply, Linux sucks at multimedia. Oh, I know its proponents will say, no it doesn't, you can do this and so on and so forth, and then everything will work just fine. To which my response is, so you're saying that to get stuff to work you just need to do a bunch of extra crap that shouldn't really even be a requirement? And that's if you're familiar with it already. If you're a newbie, you're going to have to figure out that you need to do all that extra crap, and then figure out how you're supposed to do all that. Not really helping your case there. I spent 3 days, 3 straight excruciating days on IRC trying to get stuff to work with limited success. I never got any MIDI editors to work, and more importantly, I never had a proper screen recorder. Every one I tried glitched up in some way or another. So, there's my story. It's sad but true. It's about an OS that I once knew. And now you know why I couldn't record anything in January. I will admit that it's not entirely the OS's fault that so much software doesn't work with it. In most cases it seems to be just the programmers not making it cross-compatible. That doesn't make it any less annoying though. I guess you can use some Windows programs on Linux, you just have to whine a lot. Still though, between personal experience and conversations with people who use it, my overall impressions were pretty much, you can do anything on Linux that you can do on any other OS, but good freaking luck figuring out how. It's pretty much, god dang it, the OS. And I had one of the easier distros too, something like Gentoo. That would pretty much be the lunatic mode of computer work environments. So, TLDR version, or would that be TLDL, too long didn't listen? Linux sucks. So, what have I been up to lately, you might be wondering? Well, I did manage to scrape together enough money to get a few new video games. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is certainly pretty awesome, though maybe not quite as awesome as I was expecting. I thought for sure it would be better than Returns, given that it's on a more advanced system, Dave Wise is composing the music, and they didn't stick you with forced motion controls this time. But actually I kind of liked Returns better, for some reason. I blame the underwater levels, and the sheer lack of variety in a certain other world. I also got Bravely Default, and that's pretty decent as well, though I'll admit it does drag a bit at times. One of those times being when grinding up job levels. Of course, from what I've heard, the second half of the game gets a lot more monotonous than the first half. I've only just started the second half, so I'll be the judge of that when I get to it, I guess. Then there's Yoshi's New Island, which I'm sorry to say was underwhelming at best. We haven't had a truly good Yoshi game since 1995, and that's kinda sad. There are a few upcoming games I'd like to get though. Most notably, Soul Saga, Mighty No. 9, Azure Striker Gunvolt, and Child of Light. Yeah, pretty much all indie games, or at least download-only games. I'm sorry, but modern 3D, gritty, realistic, cinematic games suck. I realize that there's more out there than first-person shooters. There are third-person shooters, there are Western RPGs, maybe straight-out 3D action games, but I swear they all look the same, and they all look uninteresting to me. And they seem to be practically all that developers are focusing on nowadays, which by extension makes the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One slightly less useful to me than status effect spells during a Final Fantasy boss rush. Of course, there are still plenty of older games that I'd like to try that I haven't played much if at all. Castlevania, Bomberman, Klonoa, Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, Persona, Tales, Ape Escape, and surprisingly Kirby and Zelda. And quite a few more, for that matter. The 90s in particular still have a lot of untapped potential for fun. Super Nintendo and PS1 Master Race. On the non-video game related side of things, I recently got to see Frozen, and I liked it. I wouldn't say it's the best animated movie ever, though. It's certainly up there, but I still think Megamind, How to Train Your Dragon, and possibly Wreck-It Ralph have it beat in that department. So that's pretty much everything I had to say. What do you guys think about it all? What do you think about the things I mentioned, the questions I posed? In particular, what do you think about my commentary style? Should I keep doing live commentary? Should I do it in text form? Or should I kind of switch back and forth between the two? In any case, I should have the first episode or two of my next project up fairly soon. So, I'll see you then. Until next time.